Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Tuesday, March 25th. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral. With me today is Bishop Robert Griffin, our executive minister and my husband, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, Minister of Connections, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall, Minister of Education. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about our progressive faith community and how you can be a part of it no matter where you live in the world. If you live in South Florida, be sure to check out the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts, offering entertainment for the LGBTQ+ community to benefit the LGBTQ+ community. Leah Delaria will be performing her show Outrage March 28th, and Miss Richfield 1981 will be performing her show Phony Baloney on March 29th. Tickets are both available at sunshinecathedral.org. Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There's no streaming TV show like this in the entire world. In 2025, we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots Magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight, with nearly 10,000 stories and 10 million views in 2024. We'll produce the 25th anniversary of Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th, Pride Fest Diversity Pride in August, and Pride Fort Lauderdale next February. Hotspots Happening Out is the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies. If you enjoy the Queer God Squad, please share this or other episodes with your friends, family, and social media communities.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Queer kids at risk as executive order pushes white nationalistic indoctrination in schools. On January 29, 2025, a presidential executive action titled, quote, Ending Radical Indoctrination in K-12 Schooling, end quote, laid out a lengthy strategy to combat, quote unquote, indoctrination of public school students. However, the same document says the purpose of public education is to teach, quote, patriotic admiration for this incredible nation, end quote. The second sentence of the document, denouncing indoctrination, states clearly that public schools are meant to provide nationalistic indoctrination. The document continues, sometimes using dog whistles and sometimes using overtly prejudicial language to denounce and threaten educational efforts to teach the realities or actual histories of marginalized or minority communities. Basically, anything that would make cisgender, heterosexual white people, males in particular, feel anything but pride for any and every event in white-dominated American history is forbidden on penalty of losing federal funding. The order doesn't really oppose indoctrination, it imposes white nationalistic indoctrination. This obviously can prove problematic for queer kids, kids with queer parents, students of color, female students, immigrant families, and more. Facts aren't radical. Forbidding them from being shared is. You know, over the past couple of weeks, I've been posting a little meme, and it says, I told you so. and it's not a joke anymore, and I have to be careful when I post it because it sometimes takes away from the ugliness of what's happening. Yeah. This government is doing everything possible to erase anything that looks anything other than white.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mostly white male. Mm-hmm. Now, there is an American, and I'm just going to read this, an American historian. She works as a professor of history at Boston College, Heather Cox Richardson. She daily posts to Facebook observations on social and political issues. And I caught this yesterday, and I'm again quoting her. Republicans convinced Americans to vote to undermine a government that enables all of us to look out for each other by pushing a narrative that says such a government is dangerous because it gives power to undesirables and lets criminals run rampant in the U.S. She goes on and she says, on Friday, Musk reposted an outrageous tweet saying that dictators, Stalin, Mao, and Hitler, this is the part, didn't murder millions of people. their public sector employees did.
Yep.
For my whole life, I have always said that it is the victors who write the history. And the history that has been written about America is, for me, etched in stone. We know what kind of a country it is. One of our evangelists, Dolores Berry, used to say about the Metropolitan Community Churches, they don't always get it right, but at least they try. We're stopped trying here in America to even get it right. We're just trying to hide any and everything that makes America look like humans ran it, because humans make mistakes. And it's okay to make a mistake, but you've got to fess up to it, and you can't hide it because it will eventually come to light.
Yeah, lying about it doesn't make it not have happened.
No.
Right.
The slave trade happened. And then when they ended the slave trade, they didn't end slavery. They were all homegrown. And then that was, and then when that ended, there was a little period of Reconstruction that didn't last long. And then there was this Jim Crow period that lasted decades, and echoes of it remain. In fact, we're trying to get 90% of it back under this administration. And so that's not indoctrination. That's what happened. Exploitation of Chinese labor happened. Incarcerating Japanese Americans because their distant relatives were in a country we were at war with, that happened. When the Constitution was written, it said all men are created equal. That's exactly what it meant. Women were not given consideration at all. This isn't woke to say this is how it is. Now, and we can celebrate how things got better if we will acknowledge how it started out needing to get better.
Yes.
And so then we can celebrate. So I don't know how we celebrate the success of getting better if we deny that it ever was bad.
Yeah.
And so it's this is an indoctrination. And in fact, to say this country never did anything racist, never did anything colonistic, never did anything xenophobic, never did anything classist. I believe that oligarchy and conglomerations, and I believe that all is what preceded the Great Depression.
Yes.
It happened.
Yeah.
It did happen. And so, this is a very troubling time, because what they're doing is, and this is a sleight of hand that they're very good at, they are indoctrinating.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
They are imposing racist indoctrination by not letting the real history be told. The real history is we realized that these things were bad and we fought to make them better, and then it got better. And now we're like, these people are telling us we're mad that it got better and we want to go back. So it's interesting if we'll let that happen. We'll see. We aren't putting up the resistance I would have expected.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
This is my problem.
So
that
we'll see.
We're just not making, too many people are not making enough noise. And then the leader of the Senate rolled over and let his belly get rubbed last week when he decided that, we're going to have to let this continuing resolution go through so that we don't shut the government down. I think that he made a big mistake. I think that he played his hand the wrong way.
Yeah.
And all of this ham-handed attacks on our America, we've got to find the strength to do it. And here at this table, we're doing it.
But if you don't know that marriage equality is only 10 years old and under threat, if you don't know that it took the better part of a decade to get education and funding for AIDS, if you don't know that the Surgeon General wasn't even allowed to say the word AIDS for most of his tenure, he wanted to be the Surgeon General,
Reagan
but he
said
wasn't
no.
allowed.
Yeah.
If you don't know that it was that there were sodomy laws if you took a same gender person to the prom, you could be arrested because your sexuality was a crime. How queer kids need to know this. First of all, everyone needs to know this.
Yes.
But these queer kids who are being denied this history are being set up to have to repeat it. And so yes, and the same with children of color. The same with little girls. If you don't know that your grandmas fought tooth and nail for the ERA, and fought tooth and nail for Roe, and if you don't know that, then you're very likely going to have to refight the battle. And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It is. It actually kind of took me, hearing the story, reading the story, took me back to when I was in school and high school, and the whitewashing of our history. And we didn't even know it. I truly didn't even know it. I had no idea. I was good in school. I was good in history. I had no idea until I started doing my own study. Going to college, meeting people like, different communities, doing my own study, discovering Howard Zinn, who's written, numerous books on the actual American history about people of color, about women, about queer folk, and what they had to do. If you don't know that, if you've not done your studies, you're just not going to know.
Yeah. I mean, there were things in the textbook that we didn't cover. Like if you read it yourself, you'd know something. But basically, in the 80s in the South, you knew Carver came up with peanut butter, and that King gave a really great speech. I don't remember hearing about Malcolm X until I was out of high school.
Exactly.
So we have a history of whitewashing anyway. This is the first time, though, that they've bragged about it.
Yeah.
It's their centerpiece, yeah.
Yeah, when I listen to the story as well, the first thing that comes to my mind is that we're not overreacting enough. I mean, I think that's the part. That's part of it. That's
overreacting at all.
I think, and to put that in kind of a different perspective, there were those of us who was acting out before this election all happened, and we were just letting people know the best we could. Hey, this is what's going to happen. Project 105. Be aware. Read it for yourself.
Yep. And
now we seem to be underreacting. I think we're just catching our breath right now, and then be ready to move forward again. But what I'm getting tired of hearing, and honestly, I'm really sick of hearing already. This is not what I voted for.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you do. And we kept telling you this is what's going to happen.
That is my new favorite hymn. Told you so.
I'm telling you.
Told you,
Yes.
told you, told you so. That's from Willie.
This is not what we voted for. As I see fellow veterans line up to protest, as I see all these different things around our nation happening, this isn't what I voted for.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly
my
what
latest one I just saw this morning was with the undoing of certain sections of DEI, federal contractors can literally return back to white-only waiting room, black-only waiting rooms.
Yeah.
These things, it's there already. And it's like, this is how far this is going to go. And one of the contractors says, well, of course this is where we want to go. This is what we voted for. So these things, the segregation that we once fought to get past is now back at our doorsteps once again. And this whole thing around their method of teaching, didn't they accuse us of indoctrination and grooming? Weren't gay folks being accused of that? They're just outright saying this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
By existing, by having a club, by having a drag show, by coming out, we were somehow just
grooming kids, reading a book.
Every show I saw on TV growing up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was a man going after a woman going after a man and woman getting married. They had a lot of children. The Brady Bunch, the people with children came together and had a lot of children. Your, Mine, and Ours, that movie with everything was just heterosexual and somehow had zero impact on me. But if you see me dancing one time with my husband, then your kids and grandkids and everyone you've ever met is going to turn gay, which, by the way, would not be a bad thing. But it's also not how it works.
Yeah.
Things that make you go,
But you cannot control, you cannot dominate educated people, which is why they're dismantling education.
Absolutely.
That's the first prong of removal, isn't it?
Yep. Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, we want to invite you to join Sunshine Cathedral on a wonderful travel experience and help our mission for our community. Join us on the Florida AIDS Walk Pride Cruise. This unique 3-day cruise will sail from Miami on the $1 billion and ultra-deluxe 170,000-ton MSC Seascape on November 2nd, 2025. The cruise is for the Florida AIDS Walk. Your participation helps 13 vital beneficiaries in our community. The cruise is an incredible value starting at just $199 and is also a fundraiser for the Sunshine Cathedral. Parties, special events, and more aboard, including a special unlimited beverage and open bar with Wi-Fi for all 3 days for just $68. We invite you to join us on this amazing cruise for fun, this vital cruise for good.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that. We all are in this together.
And also remember that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.